Jeez, I heard some shit about you. I heard some shit about you on the internet.
About me too, man.
I heard you got kicked. What they say?
Next one. Would you be okay with your friend doing business with your enemy?
You asking me?
Yeah.
I can't go to the Max B party because you're my friend. Yeah.
Why?
Because you my friend. Yeah. Talk about it.
All flavors. Got that horsepower, baby. That's a nice bigger valve. I use it myself.
Yeah, they did. He said you was there. He said you was out. I didn't even remember. This is crazy. That's what they told me. He said he was out. The internet kicked you off.
I can't rap about it no more.
But people don't know. You see, both of us had different opinions, and I think it's dope that because I always feel like two things can be true at the same time.
Right.
Right? You felt one way, I felt another way.
Right.
You went to the party, but you had already had a conversation with Kevin. Talk about it.
Yeah, I feel like I never was around him, Max. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we had our own relationship through who we know or whatever. And me being around Jim as long as I've been around Jim, and Jim being around my moms and my kids, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta holler at Capo, like, yo, bro, how you feel about that? Because I got invited directly, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm gonna definitely have that convo with bro before I just pop up and he gotta hear about it. That's just me.
No, it's definitely honored, bro. And I think, like I was saying, like me and Fad was talking earlier, as individual men, we don't always have to have the same opinion, right? I felt like because of the relationship I didn't build with Cap over the last 5 or 6 years, that I just felt like it wasn't in me to go stand next to anybody he had an issue with or whatever, because the relationship is strong and it's past.
The internet blew up last week. Rumors were flying, people were picking sides, and right in the middle of it all was Dave East. He walked into a room where everyone assumed he had to pick a side: Max B, Jim Jones, or the streets themselves. But here's the twist: he didn't play the game. No drama, no sides, just respect, loyalty, and straight-up grown energy. What really happened at that dinner? How did he handle all that pressure without losing a single friend? Or his reputation? Stick around, because we're about to break it all down. Man, this whole situation is looking absolutely wild right now. Either it's the smoothest podcast rollout ever, or someone at Let's Rap About It is about to be clearing out their locker tonight. The timing is too perfect to be random. Last week, Milo skipped Max B's welcome home party out of respect for his bond with Jim Jones, and the internet immediately erupted. Then the very next day, Dave East shows up at Max's dinner completely unfazed, smiling, and acting like the tension-packed room wasn't even there. Naturally, people online had opinions. Some called Dave disloyal, while others pointed out he had no part in any beef and had records with Max B, so it made sense he'd attend. Dave wasn't stressed at all. He knew he was solid with Max, good with the squad, and aware they were all going to run into each other that weekend anyway. That's why he stepped in looking sharp, confident, like it was the first day of school, fully prepared, sending a clear message. He understands how the rap game moves. 1 week people are yelling. The next week they are shaking hands again, and the only one looking foolish is the person who picked a side too fast. Then, just yesterday, a new podcast episode leaked at the perfect moment, the audio hitting hard and proving whoever dropped it knew exactly what button they were pressing.
He said you was there. I didn't even remember. This was great. That's what they told me. The internet kicked you off.
I can't rap about it no more.
But people don't know. You see, both of us had different opinions, and I think it's dope that because I always feel like two things can be true at the same time.
Right.
Right? You felt one way, I felt another way.
Right.
You went to the party, but you had already had a conversation with Kevin. Talk about it.
Yeah, I feel like I never was around him, Max. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we had our own relationship through who we know or whatever. And me being around Jim as long as I've been around Jim, and Jim being around my moms and my kids, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta holler at Capo, like, yo, bro, how you feel about that? Because I got invited directly, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna definitely have that convo with bro before I just pop up and he got a head about it. Like, that's just me.
No, it's definitely honored, bro. And I think, like I was saying, like me and Fad was talking earlier, as individual men, we don't always have to have the same feeling, right? I felt like because the relationship I didn't build with Capo over the last 5 or 6 years, that I just felt like it wasn't in me to go stand next to anybody he had an issue with or whatever, because the relationship is strong and it's past.
Dave East finally sat down and laid out his entire reasoning to Mayo and Jim Jones, calm yet firm, making it crystal clear that he wasn't backing down 1 inch on his stance. From the start, you could tell this wasn't going to be some half-hearted explanation. He wanted to make sure everyone understood his perspective fully, without any room for misinterpretation. Now, I can already hear the typical internet commentators rolling their eyes, typing comments like, "Why's a grown man asking another grown man if he can go to a party?" But honestly, I have mad respect for that approach. That's real, mature communication. In a world where people often act first and explain later, Dave East was doing the opposite, setting boundaries, being transparent, and making sure no one was blindsided. That kind of openness doesn't just prevent conflict, it shows integrity. He told them straight up, "Look, I know you're not feeling this person right now, but they've got hookah, they've got bottles. I'm sliding, but I'm letting you know so you're not shocked when you see me shaking hands or saying welcome home." That's what grown energy looks like. It's about handling situations with awareness, acknowledging other people's feelings, and making choices that don't compromise your relationships. You can argue all day about politics and beefs in the rap world, but there's a level of respect in being upfront like that, and Dave clearly operates at that level. Whether or not Jim Jones fully trusts or even understands it in that moment, the fact that Dave East didn't just show up blindly and risk inflaming old tensions is commendable. He didn't dive into any petty pick-a-side nonsense like a rookie. He handled himself strategically, balancing honesty with diplomacy. And let's be real, this whole scenario is perfect content for his podcast. Dave knows exactly what people are craving. The internet is itching to hear every detail about how he navigates the complex dynamics around Max B. Every pause, every nuance in his tone, every carefully chosen word matters because fans and followers are dissecting it all. But here's where it really gets wild. During the leaked podcast audio, there was a moment where the room seemed to freeze. You could feel the tension spike as Dave East broke down how quickly the streets can turn on someone. One day, people are cheering for you, praising your loyalty, and the next, they are calling you fake or disloyal, simply because you showed a moment of respect to Max B. That's the reality of the streets and the music industry. Perception shifts in an instant, and the smallest move can ignite a firestorm. Dave East explained that the pressure came at him from every possible angle. Once the dinner photos hit social media, his phone went off like an alarm, non-stop notifications, messages, and texts flooding in. People were asking every question imaginable. Why did you go? Who invited you? Who were you sitting next to? The scrutiny was relentless, almost like he had committed a crime just by showing up. But Dave remained unfazed. He wasn't about perpetuating a narrative of betrayal or stirring unnecessary conflict. He knew who he was, and he wasn't going to let rumors or assumptions dictate his actions. He told Milo and Jim Jones straight up, "I'm cool with both of you, and I'm cool with Maximum. I'm not burning bridges over problems I wasn't even involved in." And that statement landed hard. It's not just words, it's a philosophy. Dave is making it clear that he's not here to play sides, to pick fights, or to escalate tensions. He's here to honor his personal relationships and navigate a tricky environment with integrity. It's a lesson in maturity that a lot of people in the industry, and even fans watching from the outside, could learn from. Respect, loyalty, and clear communication can coexist, even in a world that thrives on drama and conflict. And, just to top it off, yes, he was at the Jets game too. That little detail might seem small, but it underscores the fact that life continues outside of the drama. Dave East isn't living in constant conflict. He's moving forward, enjoying moments, and participating in life while still being mindful of his relationships and reputation. He's showing that you can exist in multiple worlds at once: the public eye, personal relationships, and professional obligations, without sacrificing integrity in any of them. What's most impressive about this whole situation is how he manages perception versus reality. The internet will always react quickly, jump to conclusions, and sometimes spin stories into chaos, but Dave East demonstrates that you don't have to play that game. By being upfront, calm, and respectful, he controls his narrative without needing to resort to drama or theatrics. It's a rare quality in an environment where people often feel pressured to react impulsively or prove loyalty through confrontation. Instead, Dave East takes the high road while still participating fully in the culture, attending the dinner, celebrating a friend's return, and keeping his composure under scrutiny. At the end of the day, this moment highlights Dave East's strategic mindset and maturity. He isn't just surviving the pressures of fame and public perception, he's thriving by navigating them thoughtfully. He demonstrates that showing respect doesn't mean weakness, and that handling situations with clarity and honesty is both powerful and necessary. From the calm explanation to Mayo and Jim Jones, to the public pressure of social media, and the potential for misinterpretation, Dave East navigates it all with a balance of confidence, awareness, and principle. Yesterday, Mayo, a lot of people assumed that Dave East and Max B were together at the event, but that simply wasn't the case. In reality, Dave didn't even see him once. It's important for people to understand the scale of what was happening. This was an 80,000-seat stadium, and with a crowd that massive, the odds of accidentally running into someone, even someone significant in your life, are slim at best. But the bigger story here isn't about chance encounters or crowded arenas. It's about the context and the relationships that Dave East carefully navigates. The event was tied to Let's Rap About It with Jim Jones, and Dave has a personal relationship with Jim that goes far beyond professional connections. This isn't just a matter of collaborating on music or showing up for business obligations. It's a bond that involves mutual respect, shared experiences, and a history that requires thoughtful consideration when making any public move. Dave East was incredibly mindful of that context. He understands that he doesn't come from the same world as everyone else in the room, and he knows that his personal relationships carry weight in ways that can influence both perception and reality. Because of that, if he has a close bond with someone, he doesn't feel right being at odds while simultaneously showing up somewhere else to party or celebrate. It's a matter of principle and personal integrity. For Dave, it's about making conscious choices and being clear about where he stands. He can respect one relationship without disrespecting anyone else, and that balance is not easy to maintain in the music industry or in life when emotions and history run deep. When people asked him if he would have taken a picture with Max B had they crossed paths, Dave was honest. He couldn't speak on that because it didn't happen. The hypothetical doesn't change reality, and he wasn't going to speculate on what could have been. The real story, as he sees it, is far more meaningful than fabricated social media narratives. The narrative that should be highlighted is Jim Jones giving back 75 years. This is the moment of generosity, of legacy, and of community impact. That's the story worth telling, not some exaggerated football game encounter or social media rumor. The photographer at the event captured exactly what needed to be seen, and Dave made decisions based on the relationships that truly matter to him, not based on public perception or viral potential. This approach underscores something essential about Dave East as a person. He operates with a clear set of principles, and those principles guide his decisions in both public and private spaces. If a bond is personal, he respects it. If a relationship has been built on trust and mutual understanding, he honors that above all else. That's just who he is as a man. This isn't performative, it's genuine. It's about doing the right thing because it aligns with his values, not because it will score points online or make headlines. That level of maturity and foresight is rare, especially in situations where emotions run high and the pressure to react impulsively is strong. And it's important to note that Dave East's history with Max B adds additional layers to the story. Their connection goes way back, long before any of the recent drama or public disagreements. Max B started his career recording in Brooklyn alongside Dave and his crew, and those early collaborations laid the foundation for a professional and personal history that can't be erased or ignored. Even when tensions arose later, that shared past carries weight. It's part of why Dave navigates these situations with such care. He understands that history isn't just a set of events, it's the framework that informs relationships, trust, and loyalty. He's conscious of the fact that a single misstep could overshadow years of shared experiences. Ultimately, the takeaway from yesterday isn't about who was seen where or who took a photo with whom. It's about the deliberate choices Dave East makes and how he moves through the world, particularly in high-stakes situations where personal bonds intersect with public scrutiny. It's about prioritizing meaningful relationships, maintaining clarity in his actions, and making decisions that honor the people who matter most to him. That's why, even in a massive stadium filled with thousands of people, Dave stayed focused on what truly mattered. Respecting Jim Jones, honoring his personal code, and understanding that some interactions are more important than appearances. This perspective also reminds us that context matters. The decisions we make are often guided by layers of history, trust, and respect that aren't visible at first glance. For Dave, it's not just about avoiding conflict, it's about fostering and preserving relationships that have been cultivated over years, relationships that are more than professional alliances. That's the lens through which he navigated the entire event, and it's why his choices make so much sense when you look beyond the surface. In the end, what happened yesterday wasn't a chance encounter, a photo opportunity, or a social media moment. It was a careful, deliberate approach to honoring relationships and maintaining personal integrity. That's the story Dave East was telling, and it's a lesson in how to navigate life with respect, clarity, and maturity, even when the spotlight is on you. Early on, before his affiliation with Jim Jones, Dave had a friendship with Max B, but it was never as deep or extensive as the bond he developed with Capital. That relationship grew over the past 5 years through shared business, family moments, and real trust, bread-breaking and money-making together. Dave explains that his principle is simple. If he has a personal connection with someone, he can't just go out of his way to congregate with people that person has a problem with, even if he personally feels the issue should be over. It's not his call to resolve someone else's conflict, and he respects that boundary. While he would love for all of New York to unify and for past conflicts to be squashed, he's been actively promoting New York unity for years. The reality is he can only operate within the relationships he has cultivated. Dave is honest about standing on the side where his bonds have flourished, even when he's caught in the middle of two opposing camps, navigating the tension with integrity and respect. Dave East has been moving like a grown man, carefully avoiding old drama, and the wildest part is he didn't even expect the internet to blow up like it did. He thought the dinner would stay low-key until someone in the room started posting clips, almost cashing a check from a gossip page. Once that happened, he knew he had to address the situation head-on on the podcast and speak his truth. But the jaw-dropping moment came when he revealed what went down before he even stepped into the dinner. People in the city were already whispering, trying to spin it like he'd picked a side before he even chose his outfit. That's how fast things escalate when your name is mentioned alongside Max B and Jim Jones at the same time. Calls started coming in, warning him it could cause problems, but Dave just laughed. He wasn't beefing with anyone. He was simply there to celebrate someone finally coming home after years inside. Even that made people nervous because nobody knew how the story would unfold. Then he dropped the kicker. He expected maybe a few cameras, but the dinner felt like a full-blown movie set. Lights everywhere, phones out, people lining up angles like a documentary shoot. Dave realized right then that something was going to leak, and when he told Mano and Jim, they went quiet, knowing exactly what he meant. Someone in that room wasn't just celebrating Max B, they were orchestrating a moment and placing Dave East right in the center. At the end of the day, his decision to show up reminded everyone that people grow up, no one wants to fight or be reckless, and no one wants to end up back inside at this stage in life. Most of these guys are hitting their 40s and 50s, and the history they carry shouldn't dictate their future. If Jim Jones could sit down with French Montana after everything, there's no reason he can't eventually do the same with Max B. It might take time, but that moment is coming, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Max B on Let's Rap about it sooner than expected. That's the full story on Dave East giving Jim the heads up. Make sure you hit subscribe, drop a like, leave a comment, and help push this video by smashing that hype button. Appreciate you watching. Catch you in the next one.